Hey everybody, so I've been able to play this game now that they fixed the economy bug with larger cities, which is great. Until I got to about 350, 360,000 population, and then it just sort of ground to a halt. And it's crazy because everything up until that point was playing normally. You would have residential demand that would sort of ebb and flow. You need to do residential, then they'd want some commercial, then they want some, yellow. I can't remember now what that's called. Why am I blanking on what yellow is? Doesn't matter. You get the point. But then residential just stopped. They suddenly, no one wanted to move in. And so I tried to figure out, okay, why? And some people say it's things like death care, right? There's not enough death care. And there are people waiting for hearses, but if you look at death care, it's fine. Like there's plenty. It's not that bad. So it's not death care. Obviously, with a city this size, there are traffic issues. You can also see here on their happiness, there's really not a lot of complaints, noise in small houses. That's going to happen. You look here and it shows you, okay, unoccupied buildings are the only negatives for all three levels of residential. I don't do really any city policies, mostly the defaults. So it's like, okay, if it's not a death care thing, if it's not a lack of housing, it's because there's maybe too much housing. So I'm not sure what to do. Like, should I just delete housing? It doesn't make sense. So what I would do is I tried a couple of different things. One of them was to turn the taxes all the way to zero. If you do that, you'll, as you can see here, you'll get a little bit of growth, right? But just a little bit, and it will stop, maybe 5 minutes or something like that, and it will stop and start to decline again. And this basically means the game is no longer playable. Like, you can't grow your city past this point. Now, I don't know if everyone has this issue or it's just me. I know that there's plenty of blog posts and things about it out there on the internet talking about this issue, but sometimes it's for the first version of the game. It's difficult to say what could be causing it. Could it just be a bug? Could it be that I'm missing some aspect of the game that I'm not familiar with? Typically, though, there would be some residential demand, and the fact that there's zero and hasn't been any for quite a long time, I've put hours into this while this problem has been happening, makes me think it's probably a bug. You can see here that the birth rate is strong, the death rate is logical, moved away is about the same as death, moved in is pretty strong. So, you do that math, and it seems like there should be a lot more people coming in, right? Not just 1,000, but I mean, what is that, like 13, 14,000 people coming in versus maybe 4 leaving via death and moving away? The numbers don't make any sense. And yet it shows a consistent population decline most of the time. So when you go and you look at also something like jobs versus unemployed, the unemployment rate of 0.8%, that must represent people who flat out don't want to work, because look at the number of jobs available. There's 200,000 jobs available, which is why it's also bizarre that there's so much commercial and industrial, now I've remembered it's industrial, demand. The industrial demand always stays at about 50%, like half the bar. The commercial demand will go away when you build more commercial, but then come back within 5 minutes to a full bar. And it doesn't matter if I build, low or medium commercial, it always does the same thing. So I don't even know what to do at this point. Like, the game has me stumped. Every angle I look at and think about, it's just not working the way that you think it should work. Nothing's really logical at all. And eventually this, you're still seeing people coming into the city. Eventually that will go away. And the only way I've ever been able to even trigger people to come in temporarily is by going to 0% taxes for residential. And that will work for a little while. But like I said, it will go away. You can see here that I've got buildings that are level 5. People are generally happy wherever you look throughout the city. There's really no big problems. I've done lots of work with infrastructure, like there are no issues with any of the major stuff. Plenty of police, plenty of hospitals, plenty of fire, plenty of alternative transportation methods. there's like 95,000 people a day traveling via subways and buses and taxis and all those other ways. So traffic is not great, but it's definitely not like a major issue, especially throughout certain areas of the city. Now you can see here I've started to lose population again. Once it starts to go and you start to go into the negative, it doesn't really bounce back. It might sort of slow down, but it doesn't bounce back. So that's it for this one. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have you had this problem? Do you have a fix for it? Do you just have suggestions about what could be done? Any thoughts would be appreciated. Thanks.